All right, from the Swedish Fairfax City, we are very grateful that Noah Vanden Abeele accepted our invitation to our show. Noah, welcome to my humble podcast.
Thanks for having me. Thanks to you. Thank you.
No problem. Let's go back to the beginning. You like, were you born like in a musical family? I mean, how old were you when you perhaps began taking piano lesson or guitar lessons?
I'm a pianist, so I'm not born in a musical family. We had like only a few viners at home, like with French singers. But I was very lucky. My grandparents, they had a piano, and when we went to visit them, I always wanted to play on that piano. And apparently, nobody of the family was playing on that piano. And then after like some months or some weeks, they decided to give it me as a present. It was a very old piano with candles, but I was like very happy. It was like I was like something like 4 or 5 years old, and for me it was pure joy. It was like I didn't have any piano lessons. I just wanted to sit on that piano and explore the instrument. And it's like that I began. In fact, I began improvising. I call it improv. It was like very basic, but it was already like exploring the sounds and improvising before I got my first piano lessons. But I didn't enjoy so much the first piano lessons. That was very different from the freedom I had and the joy I had with my improvisation. Of course, I learned really a lot with the piano lessons. But yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to practice, right? And you need to play 2-3 hours or every afternoon.
You need to practice a lot, of course. But it was like in the beginning, it was like really a difference between my own music. For my own music, I felt like completely free to play. Like I had the freedom. I felt also my body was free, and when I had to play the classical pieces, it was like I couldn't in the beginning have this freedom. It's only much later that I had like I could put these two together and have the freedom I have. Now I have the freedom also when I play classical, and yeah, that's important to be free and to be comfortable. But I'm not considering myself as a classical pianist. No, I did conservatory. I did the whole cyclus. I have a master classical piano. Only afterwards to go back to my music that I won't call classical, but of course it's very close to classical.
Gotcha. When you were in high school, I don't know, 14 to 18 years old, were you in any rock band at all, or?
I just know I had no band. Like sometimes for fun we play together, but I think I was like a very typical adolescent. I listened a lot to. I went to festivals and I really absorbed a lot of very different genres of music, like from even metal like Sepultura to Radiohead. I'm still a big fan of Tom York, Smashing Pumpkins, Prodigy, and also I also loved techno. Yeah, it was really broad. And my parents weren't so happy about that because I did the music very loud in my room. And afterwards, I also listened a lot to classical music. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you finished high school, right? You were 18 years old, and you knew back then that you wanted to become a musician, or your parents were telling you, no, go to medical school, to engineering, you're not going to make any money as a musician, or you were?
I was very lucky. Very lucky. I mean, my parents let me completely free. If they never told me you should practice piano or should do this. They just let me, and that afterwards sometimes I think like they should have told me like to practice 2 hours or 3 hours a day since I was a child. I would have become like a so big great pianist with such virtuosity. But no, I realized that the freedom they gave me, that's what made that I was completely free to make my music. But I was like 17 years old when I realized that I wanted to become a professional musician. really suddenly realized that's what I want to do. That's my life. I want to make my life of it. But it was like a very difficult time at home because the whole family fell apart. My parents were divorcing, and it was like everybody was a bit on his own. I had to care for himself because it was really chaotic. So it was really a difficult time for me for because I have to do everything myself, and I went to look for a room to rent in Brussels. Here I live in Brussels now to study, and of course as a student you need a minimum to live and for living. And that was a bit the problem with my father, because when it was like it costed money and it was like a bit of struggle, I had really to fight and say I really want to do it, and it was like quite tough. But we finally found an agreement that he would support me, and I was lucky. I got a scholarship, and I also could give like private piano lessons, and that's how I could also care for myself. And it wasn't easy, but finally all the difficult periods in your life make you only stronger after it and more experienced.
Absolutely.
When it's going too easy, you don't learn anything.
That's right. No, I absolutely, completely agree with you. So later on, so you immerse yourself in classical music, and you end up going to school. You got a master's degree in piano at the Royal Conservatory in Brussels, right?
Yeah.
How difficult were the studies, and for somebody who go to that program?
It was difficult.
Yeah.
I practiced piano like I didn't even know it was possible to study. So it was like getting up in the morning at 7, and it was like always piano until and of course the other subject also, but until the night. And it was like every day, because of course I also had like the feeling that I didn't have like the classical curriculum the way when I was younger. Like a lot of my colleagues, they had like parents who were musicians, and they already did competitions and so when they were younger. But it was different for me, so I had the feeling like I had really to work a lot to come there. And it's quite also a competitive. You're in a competitive environment, and but of course it wasn't easy, but I liked it because I liked so much to play piano, and I really liked it. But when I finished, when I had my diploma, my master degree after it, I realized I didn't want to go back to that. Because I realized that I'm not a classical musician, and I don't feel, in fact I don't feel good in that environment. It's like too much unspoken rules for me. Quite hierarchical, or how do we say that? It's like yeah. But of course I can enjoy so much to go to a classical concert when it's play very good, but all the atmosphere around and is sometimes quite, it's a bit difficult for me to deal with that. Also, when I listen to the radio and I hear like programs where they speak about classical music, sometimes I even can't follow. It's like they made almost a sign of it, like wow. Yeah, but everybody.
Got it. Do you remember the first gig that you got paid?
I think it was like for weddings and funerals in the beginning. We had to do that for living. I don't do that anymore. I don't like too much to do that. But and also once I played when I was a student, with a friend we put like a straight piano on wheels, and he was playing recorder, and we went to play on the street because it was like a special event, and we we made really very good money during one week. I earned like what I sometimes earned like during a whole month. It was incredible. People just gave.
Really, on the street?
On the street, yeah. People would be amazed how much good musician. I mean, if you can
you're
tap into
good.
the audience,
You're good.
you can make good money, yeah. But then I consider my real first paid gig for me is like when I played my own music for renewables, and that was really special to finally get money for something I did my whole life, and to share my music. And yeah.
So you don't play the piano wheels anymore with your friend?
No, don't do that. It's fun when you're a student, but
of course, when you are 20, 22, you don't want to. You're a professional life or not, right? So you end up releasing your first record called Universe in October 2018, and which is 2018, right? So which is an excellent album. Feel free to elaborate on how that particular project came together and so forth. So.
Well, I was like I'm improvising my whole life, and like I was always to it's a big I realized afterwards that it's a big difference to improvise and to really make something, like write music and work something out. And then I realized I was always too lazy to do that, and by becoming older I thought like, yeah, I'm going to write something, and I even didn't have like the plan to make an album. I don't know from where that idea came. I started to write to make something of my improvisations, and also when I was playing, I heard like there should be it would be good there should be strings on it, and I heard like other things when I was making my music. So then the whole adventure began of looking for good musicians. Of course, I know a lot of good people, but it's not always easy to find good musicians, and also musicians you can deal with. You know what I mean? Sometimes there are big egos.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But and then I was really naive. I think I made like a list of I was looking on the internet for labels to send my demos.
Yeah.
I had no expectation, but I was quite confident, like, yeah, I'm going to send my music. And then I got an answer from a label who wanted to work together, and then yeah, the whole process of recording started. I had no experience at all of recording. I at that time I was thinking like, you go to the studio and it will be okay. You have a good sound engineer. Now I realize it's a whole art to make a good recording. I deepened myself in it, and then yeah, a few months later, I was played on the national radio here. That was crazy.
Wow, good for you, man.
Great, and of course my label helped me a lot, and so little by little. But of course, it's not. I was very happy with all the things that happened. I got good reviews and so on, but you need to, maybe especially in my genre, I don't know, you always need to go like 100% for it, because it's not like I have everything now, I have my fans. No, you should keep going. But I see that my fans or my audience are building up. When every time I'm doing concerts, it's like, I think with my second album, I saw there was like more people than the first, and let's hope it continue to grow. And the most important is to make good music. I think the first thing.
Right, of course, and get paid for that. I found you on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Do you do okay there? I mean, you sell a lot of CDs and vinyl and digital download, or it's okay, or still?
I think in general, Bandcamp is, I think, a smaller community than streaming, and than the general streaming like Spotify, and it's like a bit different. But Bandcamp is really, really great because you have a personal contact with your fans, and
That's right.
and the greatest thing is you get more money than
Yeah,
on streaming platforms. But I was really lucky because with my second album, Horizon, they put me like on the new and notable from Bandcamp. Like I got like attention from that, and but I think the biggest but yeah, sometimes I have to send like a vinyl to the States, and so and that's great. And I have like little personal contact with
folks, right? Yeah, got you.
it would be great if only Bandcamp would exist and no Spotify. No, that would be much better.
Yeah, because in Spotify you need to have like 1 million kids to get a check for $10 or something. You know, in Bandcamp you get 90%.
Yeah. It's a whole different world. I think like all these streaming services are more based. They are all based on playlists. That's when you that's a bit the mafia of playlists, I call it, because every label, they are trying to make contacts to be in those playlists because once you're in the big playlist, it's the jackpot, and you get money, you get streams, and they know it, and I find it sometimes a bit sad because, especially in my genre, when you listen to all those piano playlists on streaming platforms, they're a lot like felt piano, and it's like for me they almost all sound the same, like all these felt pianos, and I'm sure that people adapt their music of themselves to aim to be in the playlist. Like if you're in peaceful piano music on Spotify, they have like I don't know how many million followers, and then you got money. Yeah. I was lucky with my first album. I got in a big playlist on Apple Music, and then it's nice because you get money. But
I got you. Yeah, you referred to the second album, Horizon, that was released in November 2022, almost 3 years ago now. And how challenging was to put that together?
Oh, that was a completely different story because my first one, nobody knew me. I was completely free, and suddenly, they know you, and there's like much more pollution who's coming in your head. You was going to think this one will it get good reviews? Will it be played on the radio? I think that was the more challenging thing to do. And also, my first album was good. It worked quite good, but I always want to change. I discovered, like, I deepened myself in audio engineering and so I discovered like electrical synthesizers, and so when you hear the electrical sounds also, I mean electronic music, and I just always was more the process, like I don't care what they think, I just want to make something I like. That's the most important.
Sure.
And because if you try to adapt yourself, you completely lose yourself, and how can you defend your music then? Yeah.
The second album is great, man.
Thank you.
Especially that you use the keyboard in a couple of tracks, and it's kind of electronic. It's very different.
It's very different. Yeah.
But it's very good.
Apparently the same fans liked it also, and I was like, wow, nice. Yeah, I was afraid that they would say, come on, he changed, but apparently they liked it. And then like the thing is, I play with 5 string players and also electronics. Of course, when we are they're professional musicians, and when we are so much people, we are like 6 together, and I bring my sound engineering, then we are like 7, and it costs quite a lot to book us, and that was sometimes difficult to find enough money to pay everybody, and some venues also didn't have like enough place to have us all together. And so they asked if I could come alone, and that's why how this new album, I made new pieces, new solo pieces for especially for this concerts, and I saw that people liked it also, and that's how I made finally my third album. I thought like I was a bit pushed to make a solo album. I had new pieces, and it's also again a new challenge.
I got it.
Let's hope they like it when I play only solo on concerts.
Of course they will. And of course, in the second album, you include pieces for Dragon, Sophie Smile, Daydream. I think that goes into in the vinyl. You have like a deluxe edition, right? Simple words, right? You include more track in the deluxe.
They are, some pieces are on the vinyl. The problem with the vinyl is you can only put like 20 minutes on each side.
That's right.
Because you're limited, and my album was like, I don't know, 60 minutes or something, and I had to make a selection. Some people make 2 vinyls, but it's quite costly.
The cost,
yeah, and so I had it's difficult to make like a decision yourself, which piece will they like, which selection should I make to put them on it. But yeah.
No, I understand that. Although you have classical training, when I was listening to your music last night and the week before, you combine all genres from techno to pop to rock, classical, and you have a lot of freedom to do well. It's your music; you can do whatever you want, of course. And I really like it. It's very different.
You can hear the influences. Yeah.
Oh, of course I do.
Yeah. Oh,
I've been listening to music all my life, so I can tell right away, right? Yeah. Of course, it's a piano base, but it's pop, it's rock.
Yeah.
In the second album, several tracks that you start playing the keyboard, electronic music, and then the piano enter, and then you stay in the background, and then the piano come back. Oh yeah, at least yeah.
Oh, thanks. Nice to hear. Yeah. Happy to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very, very good, man. Good for you, man. And then, of course, the Magnolia, you're going to be releasing that in September, right? In a couple of months?
Yeah.
September 2025. I'm happy that I was able to listen to the album. Of course, with the third album, in my opinion, Magnolia is very different from the other two in the sense that you can kind of return to the essence, if you will, a record label will push you in the direction, go this way, go that way, but you say, no. And this is my album, and I want to play piano for myself in total freedom, right? And of course, each piece is simple but complex at the same time. What motivation you had to put that together?
Yeah, like I said, I was a bit forced to make new solo pieces, and because of the concerts of venues, sometimes they didn't have enough money or enough place, and so I started to write solo music. But it's a challenge because it's like, for me, it's like more easy to write also for like piano. You're like more how do you say that, nude, like you feel like and it's also more sober, and I like to make like big, like big sound and so, and for piano you really go to the essence, because you go. And for me also, it started with piano when I was a child, with only piano, and so I thought I should dare to make an album only solo piano, and it was like I'm going back to my roots, and yeah.
And of course you have. The only way to progress, I suppose, is get out of the comfort zone, right? And then do your own and gamble, and then play your music, and at the end, you are the only person who is going to be happy releasing that, right? Either you're happy with the stuff, you release it. Some people may like it, some people may not like it, some people may compare Magnolia to the previous two albums, but at the end of the day, it's your life, your music, put it out there, right?
That's the most important, to stay true to yourself.
Absolutely.
And mostly when I write, when I'm preparing an album, I have like music for 2 albums.
Yeah.
I write a lot of music, and then I start eliminating, like, and you put
Right.
sometimes so much work in a piece, and then I just let it go. And my girlfriend is helping me a lot for this, and she's quite I trust her musical ear. She's not a musician, and I'm happy about that. but she helps me like this. She fine, and sometimes she also say like feedback. And sometimes I'm angry. I say no, and finally she's right. Sometimes when you worked a lot on the piece, and you put so much work in it, you don't want to change it, but finally you have to change it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're getting good input for your girlfriend. Maybe you should marry her one day. Just jokes. If situation will well. But you try. Someone need to become true to himself, I suppose, right? So so you start sending the record album out. What has been? Is it? I'm quite sure that it has been very well received, right? The album.
This last one, Magnolia.
Oh. Yeah, the Magnolia. Are you sending
that
album out already? And of course, it's radio.
Yeah.
So
we only release like 2 singles, so it's really the beginning. And I got already some reviews, and I think it's okay. And also I have my release concert. We planned it in a bigger hall, like for 270 seats or something. For me, that's already quite good. But just I really hope it will be full. We'll see. But I think I hear it's going quite good. So yeah, and I hope to play with it on festivals and all these things. But like I said, it's not easy. I don't know how it's going in the United States, but here in Belgium, we are like a little country, and we are so much musicians. There are so much things to do. It's like the queue. Everybody wants to go and to play. Yeah.
Do you get paid in general terms? You get paid a flat amount, a standard amount, or you get a percentage of the ticket sold, or?
It depends. It depends. Mostly until now, we could negotiate a flat amount.
A flat amount.
So there is no stress if nobody comes. You get paid.
That's right. You get paid the same amount, right?
It's full, yeah. But when it's like a bigger venue, and then they say like when there is more people than this minimum fee, then you can get like a percentage. Yeah. But I was lucky. I could play, like, there is quite a big festival here in Belgium called Henchaz, and I could play there already 3 times with my last 2 albums. I wasn't, of course, the main act, but it was like, maybe you know Jan Tiersen. I don't know.
Yeah. I know the name. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the main act, but I could play before him, and so there you can make new fans. And the second time it was Ludovico Einaudi. I don't know if you know him. Ludovico is an Italian, and it's really great if you can do that, because the most people come for those big names. But I'm like in the same vibe, and then they discovered my music, and some people even said they prefer me than the main.
All right, that's good, man.
But yeah, of course.
That's good for you. Yeah. Now, so how many times a year, on general, you play? You do okay? You need to teach? You have another job, or you live just out of music?
Yeah. I also teach piano.
Yeah.
Like a half time, and I like to teach if it's not too much, and I'm happy to have that, because here in Belgium we are quite lucky to have like quite a comfortable, I mean, we have like, how do we say that, like public teaching schools for music academies.
Yeah.
And we are like treated like normal teachers. We have like in the holidays we also get paid and so that's good.
Yeah.
And then I also play in I'm improvising on silent movies in the film museum here in Brussels. I do this regularly. And then I also have my own music. I would like to play that I would like to be this really the biggest thing, but I think we need to build up. And mostly it's like I release an album, and then we have like concerts, and then a new album, concerts. But honestly, only to live from my album, that would still be difficult. Yeah. When you have concerts, it's going good, but then there are times you have to make music and to do other things, and then you would have nothing. And
to pay the bills, of course. And of course, I was, when I was researching your life, and you have improvised live performance for more than 600 silent films.
yeah.
My God, how you do that? They show like a silent movie, and you play in the background. You see the movie ahead of time, or you just
I just go and tonight I have to play also, and I don't watch the movie beforehand because we just wouldn't be possible. We just go, and there is a piano in front of the screen and people are sitting behind, and I'm in the dark, and I'm like the movie is my score, and I'm improvising on that. It's really great because it's like for me it's like a laboratory where I try all kind of things. I think I have like ideas, and I must take ideas and inspiration like unconsciously for my own music here, I think. Yeah.
How many people attend the kind of events like tonight?
Silent movies. Yeah, we play often there is like a little room and a bigger room. In the little room it's like 30 people, and in the bigger room it's like 120 people. And sometimes mostly it's in the little room, and a lot of people come to that. You would be surprised. and sometimes we play in the bigger room, and it happens that it's full. Sometimes that's nice when you have like 120 people. You feel the audience. I like that, to feel like.
And at the end, are you able to bring CDs and vinyl, sell your own music, or you're not allowed?
No. I'm not the only pianist there. We are like 7 pianists. We are like a little pool of pianists, and I don't think they would like I promote myself. And it's also quite different what I'm doing there than. But maybe some people. I think some people know my music from there, but I wouldn't tell my fans from my music to go to silent movie because it's completely different. Yeah.
And then do you record? Is a recorder what you play? Although you're improvising? Because that recorder will give you ideas to bring it home or not?
No, I don't record because I wouldn't be patient enough to listen back to, like, sometimes we have to play on movies from 3 hours long. It would be too long to listen. Yeah, that's luckily that's not every week like that, but yeah.
And you, of course, you get paid a little bit of money, right? It's not free.
Yeah.
You play 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are paid per movie, not per time.
That's right. And so are you, after the album is released in September, obviously you're going to be touring with that particular album. Any other work that you have behind the scenes that you already begin working for the next album? Yeah.
I'm already
ideas?
thinking about my next album. I always see that's like when I finish an album, it's already like starting to think a little bit, but I'm not sure yet, and I really keep that for myself. Then, I don't know it even like myself, and I maybe only electronic ones. I don't know.
Maybe like the second album, like the
Yeah, maybe not, maybe yes. I couldn't say it.
yeah. And when you say before, sometimes when you write music, you have music for two albums, right?
Yeah.
And you say, no, we need 10 pieces, so I need to remove track 1, track 4, track 7, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you keep this in a hard drive so you can revisit that in a year from now and say, hey, maybe I can use that 30-second plus another 30-second and another minute and then glue it together and then right?
Yeah, I have already a lot of music in my computer.
Right.
That I'm sure is maybe that it is good, I think, but because my girlfriend say no. No, it's not only because of that, but but I'm not convinced. Maybe I will take some little pieces and work something out. Like I had sometimes it's even before, like 1 or 2 weeks before the recording, that I say, no, these pieces I won't do it. It don't feel completely right. But I have like a middle section of it that I feel really beautiful. I find really beautiful, and maybe this one I will work out. And I also have another piece with electronics that I like, and I should release it also. And but yeah, it should be mixed also. And yeah, it takes. It's always a question of there are a lot of times like you're hesitating. You sometimes you come on a point you don't know it, and you're not sure if it's good. When you listen too much to your music, I think it's for everyone. I hope. I hope
Yeah. No. Your music is great, man. Don't worry. Mozart versus Beethoven.
Mozart versus Beethoven. For me, classical music, I need like a dessert or something. I need a bit of everything. It depends my mood, and I really like Bach.
Bach, yeah.
I really like it, but I also like Mozart. Is really great. Maybe Mozart. Yeah, if I really have to.
I think you have a picture in the background there.
You can see it.
Of course, I recognize. Another guy that you might like, it's what's his first name for German? Niels Fram.
Niels Fram, yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to this last week. He's very good too, man.
Yeah.
Plus, like you, he does a little. It's not just classical music. He has, of course, basic classical music, obviously, but he do a lot of different things.
Yeah. I went to see him once here in Brussels, and it was really great. Yeah, really good musicians, and with good philosophy, and he's also a good sound engineering. He knows how to do it. Also, I think he mixing his albums himself.
Yeah, he does.
I'm quite jealous about this because I'm learning now, but it takes a lot of time to. Yeah, that's really a whole.
To record and then master.
To record, like the equalizing, the compressing.
Yeah, everything to put in your own music, right?
Yeah.
But at the end, you are a little biased because of your own music. So it's good for you record it, you mix it, but somebody else mastered that. So the other person will see things that you couldn't hear because you're biased to your own music. You say, no, this is great, this is great, this is great. And another say, hey, maybe track number 3 and 4, let's change that here, let's change that there.
Yeah.
It's good to have a partial.
Yeah.
That's why your girlfriend is good.
Yeah, it's very important. It's better to have other people,
of course, feedback, right?
Because there are things you don't hear anymore or you don't see, and
yeah. Feel free to mention feel free to mention your website and Bandcamp where people can buy your music. I'm going to be putting the link anyways, but feel free to mention where people can get a hold of you and buy your music and support your career.
Yeah, I have. Of course, you can find everything on my website. Maybe you should write my name.
Yes.
Vanden Abeele, I think it's quite difficult in English to remember, but maybe it's a typical Flemish name.
Yeah.
There you can find all the links to my Bandcamp, I think, to my socials and so on, also to my concerts. And if you want to buy music, I prefer you do it on Bandcamp. The percentage is better for us, and it's a nice platform. Yeah.
Of course. Noah, it was very nice talking to you. Good luck. You're a great guy, man, and I will. Hopefully, you will do like you say, you have some electronic music in the background. You're thinking like the second album, which is great, but the third album is very good too. So
yeah, it's different. Yeah. I
good
will
for you.
remember that. I will remember that. But I liked my second with the electronics. Maybe I should put this.
A combination of both. A couple of tracks more. But there is one particular track I don't remember in the second album that is very good. I will send you an email, a link. That particular track is very, very good. For me, because I love electronic music. So, but the rest is very good as well. So no.
Thank you.
You need to do what you like and be happy with that. Don't listen to people like me. You need to do what that's your freedom in your life. It was very nice talking to you, Noah, and we'll stay in touch, man.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
No problem, man. Sure.
Bye.